24 there about. And they're supposed to be graduating out of there, but we extended the stay there so we can get in some skills training. Let me repeat this thing. And I just had a press talk with the legislative media people of all the media institutions in this country that assigned media people, reporters at the Capitol building. I had an interaction with them not too long before coming. I had to repeat myself again, and trust me, Julius, I'm not going to repeat myself again after I repeat this, what I'm coming to repeat. When I was contesting for senator, I insisted that when we're hearing about 15,000 monthly was too outrageous. 5,000 in my view for monthly. And if I went there when we're making 15,000, I would take 5,000, I get 10,000 back to the county every month once I'm receiving that monthly salary. When I became senator, in fact, I expounded on that. I said, if I go in there and we're making 100,000 every month as in salary and allowances, I would take 5,000 a month, rather will get 95,000. If it is 50,000, I would take 5 every month, and Monster Rider will get 45. If it is 5,100, I would take 5 and give Monster Rider 100 because my base for salary for us was 5,000. When I became senator, I entered just around the time for quote-unquote national harmonization. So when we announced the salary, the monthly salary of senators, my first pay was under the harmonization. This legislature salary, especially from the Senate, it had reduced from $15,325 gross, and net was $12,000. The harmonization reduced it to $10,000, and after tax deduction, it came to $7,900. It was based upon that I said, since my base for salary for monthly salary is 5,000, I will take the 5,000 and the 2,900. I will give back to Monster Rider, but I will add 100 on it to make it 3,000.
Okay.
That 3,000 I committed to Monster Rider County through a county council that was set up. That 3,000 refurbished the sanitary facility at PHP. I think it's 8 room with camo, we put in camo. People are now using the beach side to defecate again, or quote-unquote toilet. That 3,000 monthly intervention. That 3,000 monthly intervention built a bathroom and full bathroom and toilet facility in New Matadi, where I don't live. The Central Matadi Mosque, the leadership of the mosque, they asked me to intervene. I will build a full bathroom toilet facility, and it is being used by the public. Let people go to Central Matadi. That monthly 3,000 intervention built a hand pump for the people of Konenya in district number 17, where the former representative, Hassan Kiazuri, found the spot, found the community God. He was the representative of that community at the time of that district. When they built that hand pump and dedicated it to the people, they are using it today. From that 3,000 I was giving back to Monster Rider County. That 3,000 we bought polytank, 1,500 capacity for water, safe drinking water for the people of Ashmore Street. They were using that money every month through the county council that we set up until we completed the refurbishing and dedication of the rehab center. It was September 2021, in the presence of all the people that matter in the country besides President Weah, honor his administration. Because at the dedication of the rehab center, the vice president of Liberia then, Joel Howard Taylor, was there as a keynote speaker. The current president of Liberia, Joseph Numa Boaga, in his former vice president status, was at that program. The current pro tem of the Senate, Namdi Kanga Lori, was there. The former Justice Minister, Musa Dean, was there to represent the government. The former Youth and Sports Minister, Zoga Wilson, was at that program. Mr. Benin Yue, and you name them. They were all at that program. The media flooded that place that day, and I made the remark during the dedication that the money I was giving back to Monster Rider County every month from my salary, the 3,000, will be using it here. And that rehab center has graduated 4 batches of Liberian citizens. That rehab center is a source of employment for 17 staff. That rehab center, apart from rehabilitating people and restoring them to sanctity, is also a source of employment for that very money that we get back to most of our
Have you been able to check on some of those that have graduated from there, how they are doing now?
99% of our people that have graduated have not gone into relapse.
I hope to have some of them here someday.
Yes, we got way to track. We're tracking them. Our people are interested in knowing the returns of what we do, what are we wasting money, and what we need to do differently. So we have done 4 batches of boys. The 5th batch, current there now, is they are all female. And I was there few days to Christmas. Most of the time I go there, I go with 1 or 2 of media people. People decide what to report. People get an editorial policy for different reasons. And I don't expect the media to get the person who they don't get somebody far out today, they don't what only person standing on the floor today. Sometimes you do it for the camera, maybe you don't mean it. And then media too has its own role to play in some of these things. So yes, I take pride in the fact that in 4 years, going to 5 years as senator, I have taken more than almost close to 100 persons from the street and returned them to society as productive citizens.
Okay.
And more to come.
Good. It was important to have that clarification. Now, Liberty Party who come to Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
What have you all been up to? What are you trying to do? What is the picture?
We owe Liberty Party and our partisans to restore the party's image and make it greater, better. When your vision bearer leaves something with you, even if it was not very okay, it is a responsibility imposed upon you to make it very okay. The general support asked what Tubman did. He was there for 27 years. Tubman left us Hardrow. Tubman left us the port, the RIA, JFK. They won't want to expand on those things. We don't want to, modernize them to state of the art. We can't blame Tubman. Tubman did what he could do at their time. So I'm relating it to Councillor Bronskin, Charles Walker Bronskin. And you see, I'm not saying the late Charles Walker Bronskin. That's the same feeling I have always when it comes to Councillor T.C. Gould. I don't call those people the late because I think once some of us around and building on what they instill on us, into us, we are their legacy. So I don't call them late. Councillor Charles Walker Bronskin left an institution in our care. And in our own human limitations, things happen the way they happen. We have a grace to put it back together and make it even more vibrant so that not just the legacy of Charles Walker Bronskin, not just his name, but that vision, the purpose for which Liberty Party was established can be realized. Our partisans are excited. We are reunited our party under one leadership with after the exit of Musa Belete as chairman of the party. We chose to do the chain of command until we go to convention. So Ruki Barry is the acting chair of Liberty Party. She was vice chair for administration. She's the acting chair. Nyomdi Kanga Lawrence is the political leader of the party. We have secured a headquarters. It's right in Singapore, directly opposite of what you see here.
You mean the one that LPP?
PLP.
Okay, PLP was in. That was later transformed into a church building.
Right. No.
So you have transformed it, but you take it from God.
No, we won't take it from God. Liberty Party was from their own
Yeah, you don't have to tell the church from inside until the
So we have secured a party headquarters that will be representative of the institution that we want to to ensure that we have. And our parties are excited, and we are preparing.
Okay, now, there was just three big parties: CDC, UP, Labour Party. UP had won, CDC had won. People had thought that somewhere around the corners it would be Labour Party. For whatever reason, you fell down the pecking order. Do we hope to see a more vibrant Labour Party going into 2029? It looks like it will be an open field, perhaps fielding a candidate.
So we formed a Labour Party to govern this country, not to be endorsing people. But the 2023 election had its own meaning, maybe by divinity. So after 2023, everybody, in my view, is to where they were destined to be. And that destiny had a path. And that destiny found its path through the disunity in CPB. So that everybody can be where destiny had for them for 2024. We'll take from there and move on. What Liberty Party would not seek to do almost immediately is to be looking at 2029 in 2025. Liberty Party will seek to build, rebrand. And if it will require, if some officers are tiring already, we must be men and women enough to step aside.
Well, sometimes they say you should aim for a big target right from the beginning so you know what your goal is.
We know what our goal is. We have a goal, we have a target, but we have pathways to getting to our goal.
And you don't want to expose the goal yet.
Well, they say when you go home and you're making noise, you won't catch.
What?
Who goes to home and be making noise? All the animals run away.
Okay.
Exactly.
We'll see what works. Let's come to Capitol Hill.
Right.
The Senate over the past 6 years before 2024 was a little more vibrant, I believe. I mean, going after the executive and people in the executive to do the right things. The likes of you and others were in opposition. You were always, even if you did not have the chance on the floor, you have the chance in the media.
Yes.
1 year on, some people think they are not feeling that vibe. Do you agree with them?
Yes, I agree with them. But what they forgot, go back to 2006, the first year of Ellen that were honeymoon. Go back to 2017, Honor President George Weah. 2018, Honor President George Weah. In fact, it was concluded that the legislature was already rubber stamped. Each time Bomba they were passing, everybody President Weah sent at the Senate were confirmed. In fact, the first rejection, the first vote not to cause the withdrawal of a nominee, the first vote to reject a nominee came when I became senator in 2019. The whole of 2018, Honor President Weah, the entire legislature was like honeymoon. It is historical. You are a lover and follower of democracy like America. Just watch Trump nominees beginning this week for all the confirmation. Most of the guys will pass.
Even though some of them started resigning way before they even went before.
Exactly.
Because of the noise.
Yeah. But the ones who still up for confirmation, most of them will pass. Doesn't mean that the U.S. Congress is not rough or tough. Every administration has honeymoon. That's why people even talk about my first 100 days, and all those things to set the agenda. And I have said now that, yes, that honeymoon period is over. And more besides, Julius, I can understand the disappointment of some people. I need to let them know that I don't think it would have been wise for me, especially Darius Dillon, to make a government to be a face making a government. And soon in the morning, the next day, I on top of another truck beating that very government down without giving it any chance, one moment, to settle, to prove what? In my view, that's immaturity. We have given 1 full year to our own making. Last year was a year to settle. This year is a year of expectation, and going forward, we dare not fail.
You wrote a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
not a few days, I think several days ago. That's where I want to go. But first of all, why do you think you divide opinion down the middle so much? Just as you are admired, you are also very much not admired.
Yeah.
Right down the middle. There are a whole lot of people that hold you to different levels of expectations and all of that. And there are some people, some who even voted for you, say that they're not seeing the direct.
That's true. Nobody hates me. Everybody likes me. The people who voted for me, the people who are in the rescue mission, they like me. Citizens like me, but they can get failed because I'm not with them. You see, if I were to flip to go on the side of CDC, they will praise me, and then rescue mission people who like me now and will be very. Nobody is a politician, but in a democracy and as a leader, if you expect everybody to like you, you got a problem. Any leader who expects or demands everybody to like them, that leader got problem, is not democratic. Just because somebody criticizes what I don't like, what I don't tolerate, what I don't stomach, I don't countenance at all, that rudeness, firewalls and all those things. Oh, I say the road bad, you say the road good, we have a discussion pro and con. But I say the road bad, you say shut up your tongue time. We're not in the same league, and you don't have a discussion because the road good or bad got nothing to do with my tongue. You understand? So when you hear people say Dylan, it's not robust like before, I'm robust inside. For the whole year, we've been robust inside. So it was not loud. And some people just waiting for me to criticize my own government because they won't hear the criticism, they want to hear the negative things about the government to make their own political platform for their political future. When you hear some citizens or people in opposition say, now that the dealer will know you're doing job where 10 years of that, they want me to join them early to beat my own making. I'm too wise to know that. But you see, my own making must perform.
Okay, so let me read it.
And now it is time for my own making.
On December 31, you wrote this. Indeed, the year 2024 has been challenging, a very challenging year, a rough, tough start, good and bad experiences, difficulties, discouragement, disappointments, but mixed with some positives as well. It is worth noting that these challenges and the real or imagined negative news overshadowed the positives of the rescue administration our first year. The increasing crime rate and unresolved criminal cases, the growing public distrust, lack of discipline. So you wrote quite a piece, and you went on to say the year 2025 cannot be the same as or worse than 2024. No way. A call to action. Concrete steps and actions in the best interest must be our focus and goal. We must be positively intentional and act with passion. Our people cannot wait any longer, and they will not wait any longer. You spoke to the executive, to the judiciary, and the legislature that you are a part of. Where did this come from?
It came from a good place. It takes courage to be part of something and acknowledge that there are issues. Everything is not rosy. In fact, some things are actually not rosy. It's not all bad that some people wish it would be, or some people perceive it is, or some people making it to appear. But it's not all rosy. And it is not all rosy part we must pay attention to. You know, when something is in a deep pit, in a deep hole, and you have to rescue it from in that deep hole, the energy you apply down there to bring that thing to surface, some people don't understand it. They will not appreciate it until they see that thing come on surface before they appreciate that something is happening. the first year to rescue this country from everything that we claimed that the country was going through. It took a lot of time and energy down there. And some people were doing all kinds of things down there too.
Yeah, mistakes. Yeah, and
Yeah. And I can allow mistakes. You learn from mistakes. But if the mistakes are very obvious, sometimes deliberate, no, I don't buy into that. For instance, I stood on the Senate floor along with some of my colleagues to say no, Mr. President. As much as I benefit from His grace, His proximity in His inner circle, I said no, Mr. President. Tenure law is being violated. Anybody you appoint as acting or to tenure position would not appear for the Senate. It takes courage. No, Mr. President, Central Bank. No, Mr. President, LTA. And all of those stuff. And we'll continue to do so.
But the people are acting there.
The people are acting there. That is why we said 2024 finish. We're talking 2025 now and going forward.
How can the Senate, because that's one of the things I was going to bring up, and thankfully we brought it up.
Right.
How can the Senate deal with that gray area? There seems not to be a law that will make people not to be acting for that long time.
Yes.
So how do you deal with that?
The Senate will act by taking vote, public vote, and communicating the vote decision to the executive.
What does that mean?
It means the matter gets on the floor, we debate it, and we vote. The Senate has voted and communicated its vote action to the executive to replace people who are acting in tenure position against the law. If the president doesn't want to do so, it will be now left to civil society people, you in the media, and those of us who took that decision, because it will vote to say this is wrong, and will communicate our vote action to the executive to take the appropriate action, and the executive still is not acting. We should have the courage in that same majority to put out a non-compliant posture.
Is it also possible to push for some legislation that will clearly deal with those kinds of things, like no one can act in government for more than 3 months?
Yeah, so Senator Weston Garfield put that bill on the floor. Okay. It's before us, the Judiciary Committee, and we will prioritize that bill soon from the Judiciary Committee. We can't be whining in the Senate, and we'll have some tool in our hand that can remedy the situation and don't take it and put it into action.
You have always spoken about the economy, and it is on the backdrop of what the people feel. I was watching an interview with the Canadian Prime Minister, and he said even though our economic numbers are good, the economy is performing well, but the problem in Cubans face is if someone is buying something for $10 that they were buying $7 or $6, they're not going to have time for all that. The economy is doing well.
Yeah, the economy is not pleasant in people's ear when their pocket cannot feel it. When their lives can't feel it. Before I get there, even at the Senate, my office, myself, we're getting the support of our colleague. We put a bill to review the statute of limitation so we can extend the number of years from what it is currently. Currently, statute of limitation is the law that protects somebody or frees somebody from being prosecuted after a number of years from committing certain crime.
What is that now?
So as it is now, corruption crime, economic sabotage, all those things, felony that is not a capital offense. Capital offense that kills the murder, treason, where they will send you to jail for life. We used to do death sentence now because of international statute or treaties. We ratify no death penalty against death penalty. So capital offense, the crime committed like murder, treason, and other crimes deemed or enacted to be capital offense where you get life sentence. Non-capital offense like corruption, economic sabotage, and theft of property and all that thing, 5 years. If you committed a crime, 5 years pass. Nobody caught you, nobody prosecute you, you're free.
That's so small.
The current statute of limitation, and been on the books and 1972. I being a reformist, I'm saying we got a part of our fight against corruption is to get teeth to bite to the law, and then our courage to implement the law. So I have proposed to the Senate, and I have drafted a bill and submitted it. It is before the Judiciary Committee. The pro tem even talked about it today in her opening statement. That the statute of limitation on non-capital offenses like corruption and aggravated assault and other things, it should be 15 years, but I'm modifying it. Thanks to Councilor Lafayette Gould, who drafted the bill for me after I brought the idea up to him, and he drafted the bill, and then we work on it. Thanks to, I want to acknowledge him publicly, Lafayette Gould. Thank you, Councilor. Now, the current bill is as it is. Because I'm going to use their name instantly.
Yeah. Don't even use my name. Because I tell you you're going to do so.
Okay, so Dallas Dillon, if Dallas Dillon stole $20 today from government, it's very likely, especially while he in government and he in that office, he can cover up, he can sit down on it. And after 5 years, when he leave that office, and you discover that 5 years ago, Dillon stole $20 from you. You can't do anything for 5 years. So I am saying, I have proposed that 5 years will be extended to 15 years. But the key ingredient that we are proposing is, from the discovery of the commission of that crime, the 15 years begin.
Yeah,
for prosecution. Meaning, if I stole $20 5 years ago, and after 5 years, they caught me after 5 years. The day they caught me and discovered that I stole 5 years ago, 15 years start from that day. None of the time I committed the act. So for instance, if I was 20 years old and in government, or well, I'm not in government, but I committed a non-capital offense under the statute of limitation. If I was 20 years old and they discovered, the time I was 50 years old, at the time they discovered that I committed a crime, the time I was 20 years old, and after the year gone, it means the 15 years under the limitation begins from the day they discovered that I committed.
It makes sense because to investigate some of these cases take a whole lot.
Correct.
It takes time, it takes resources.
Correct. So that's a statute of limitation we put up, and I'm looking forward to the Senate passing that, hopefully before the close of February. So we can get teeth to bite to our fight against corruption and to bring property in government, in public space. So that people, and the reason, the rationale behind 15 years is because if you make it less than 12 years, one government can get 2 terms of 12 years, 6 years each. And if a government won't prosecute its own, and they get 12 years, after 12 years, you can prosecute. Well, at least 15 years. One government get 12 years, another government can still have 3, but then the day they discover that crime, 15 years start from there. So 10 limit in of any matter now if we pass this law. We got to strengthen the law so that at least a third person wanted to commit crime, at least 4 will say, if I try it, 6 will say, if I try it, this is what will happen to me. What you have done, you have saved, prevented, at least 4 persons from committing, that crime against the state and the people. So that's why we brought the statute of limitation law. And also, work permit. The labor minister is before the Liberal Senate. And it is something of interest to me.
I heard you talking about that. We even talk about it here.
Thank you. Work permit. Now, instead of putting people in line, or people, after you leave studio, people in line waiting for you to get something, you go to wedding, people there waiting for you to pay their way. You go to work, you crying, and you go to church, people give you small note, because you big man, quote unquote, public official. Why don't we do things that will create jobs for our people? At the legislature, the legislature create the environment for people to get jobs, especially in the private sector. And part of the environment, some of the environment we create, every environment we create is to ratify concession. So one concession comes, they want to do business, invest in Liberia, and say, okay, when we pass this concession will provide 2,000 jobs. When we pass it, we've taken steps to provide 2,000 jobs. Then we pass the labor law, and we respect the executive through the labor ministry not to give certain category of jobs to non-Liberians. Because if you have a concession that's going to provide 2,000 jobs, and you have the executive through the labor ministry giving 2,000 work permit to non-Liberians, you actually have not provided job for Liberians in that concession. So we raised this thing about work permit. The labor minister appeared. We had a live public hearing.
Because part of what they did, I mean, at the labor ministry, what was that they just here and they made, I think, 5 million out of work permits. And so, people are like, whoa.
I am more. Do we want the revenue from issuing work permit, or to get a 1,000 per work permit, or we want to preserve the jobs for Liberians so that each Liberian that gets employed as a result of not giving work permit, you feeding 4 to 5 families. The money will remain in our economy. But if you give, so as it stands, we stood our ground thanks to our police in the Senate for the cooperation, the pro-tem leadership. The Minister of Labor submitted the work permit list. We fell short of one key thing we are still demanding. The work permit number is 8,772 work permits that have been issued. Wow. So, Mr. Minister, come back and tell us the categories. The categories will inform us whether, because if you needed a lab scientist, a laboratory scientist, and we don't have any Liberian, for instance, to perform that, to do that work, it is justified to issue that work permit. But if I look in some companies where carpentry job is being done by foreigners, especially non-Africans, I'm not being xenophobic here. As a senator, my role is to ensure that I provide jobs for my people by creating.
That is a responsibility
of the government. You understand?
Even though the youth and sports and government responsibility to create jobs.
Why the youth and sports minister, if I had said that thing, that 1 year discussion on me.
I've been on him though. So.
Yeah, no. Julius, I know what I'm talking. So, if you give 2,000 work permit to drivers, to tailors, to plumbers, to electricians, to accountants, who are non-Liberians, then more beside, they are not even ECOWAS citizens. It is troubling because the people out there say, Senator Dillon, they're not providing jobs for us. The executive, the government through the executive, has the authority, the power, and the responsibility by law to make sure these jobs are provided to our people. We in the legislature create the environment by enacting enabling laws. We have enacted one enabling law to say, don't give work permit to a driver who is not a Liberian when a Liberian is qualified to drive that. During the hearing, the labor minister came and it went beyond just the work permit. The labor minister informed the hearing live in the Senate to the effect that at one of the Western cluster companies, concession, they got 100 drivers to do heavy duty machine and equipment. 45 of the 100 drivers are Liberians. 55 non-Liberians. Mr. Minister, why did he do that? No, you see, the kind of digital and technical equipment The people couldn't find Liberians. So while they are on the job, that's why they got 55 drivers, non-Liberians, and 45 drivers, Liberians. Okay, if the 45 Liberians are qualified to operate that machine that the non-Liberians are operating, how much are you paying them? They're paying the Liberians 600 and paying the non-Liberians 3,000.
Wow.
If the non-Liberian went to school and got a skill in operating that equipment, the Liberian too went to school and got that same skill to operate that equipment. Why are you paying him far less? Especially in your own country too. Mr. Minister, why are you getting all these work permit? They say, oh, we got to slow down the work permit thing because it will affect the budget revenue. Do we want $5 million from work permit, or we want 6,000 Liberians to get job? If we don't issue 6,000 work permits,
That will also be paying taxes.
that will also be paying taxes and can even generate more than 5 million from the work permit. Those are the things we seek to do. But because we are not on Broad Street causing man,
No, it is important.
we are not on Broad Street causing man. We are not on top of our car beating our chest that Joseph Boga disappointing or we don't want Brian. So our voices are being drowned. So the only thing that carries some of us, and I will not drop it, is good conscience to do my work.
Sure.
Posterity will speak to it.
Now, folks, when you listen, I allow him to go deep into this particular topic about jobs and all of that because it is one thing that every government coming to power will certainly campaign on the issue of jobs. And of course, I promised you last week that I will have talked about this issue of labor and jobs and all of that. So you've heard for yourselves. Now, before we go to the lines, I want more interactions with you. Let's come to Capitol Hill.
Mm-hmm.
One way or the other, you've been handicapped with the issues at the house. There was the burning of the joint chambers. We don't know whether it's arson or not up to present. But this entire saga, how has it affected the workings of you people?
Julius, there was no excuse for disrespect for the rule of law. No excuse. The saga at the house, the fire at the Capitol building is disturbing. It leaves an almost everlasting negative scar on our rescue government. It is not possible to erase it from inside Liberian heads. If, in the end, professional forensic investigation prove otherwise, that nobody burned that place. Some Liberians are already settled with their opinion that the place was burned. I don't say the place was burned. I say the fire that took place over there is unfortunate. But it came at the time all these things were happening. So people gave their own opinion, their own perception. I will wait for the professional conclusion of the investigation. But what it did was that it was just not well. You see, I was chief of staff to Edwin Snow when he was speaker. Edwin Snow is now senator. He's my colleague. I was chief of staff to Edwin Snow when he was speaker in 2006. And I saw the blatant violation of the law, disrespect for rule of law in his attempted removal. Normally, I insist attempted removal because he was not removed. He resigned in the end though, but he was not removed because the people did not meet the constitutional requirement. And the way they proceeded, even the Supreme Court ruled with courage that they were unconstitutional, they were unlawful, they were illegitimate and illegal. You know, who were those championing and leading the removal of Edwin Snow, Ellis Tyler, Edward Ford, James Banning? Then Tyler became speaker. And when our chief of staff to Edwin Snow, I stood with Edwin. People thought I was defending my job. But when Tyler became speaker, and subsequently, Edwin Snow then decided to remove Tyler the same manner that he removed Edwin Snow that he didn't elect, that we took to court, who said was a breach of law. Edwin then, Senator Snow then asked me to join the thing, and even though I was not elected, but I got a sway of things, and by special grace. I told him no. I'm sure he's listening. I told him no. If it was wrong the way they did it to you then, and they're doing it the same way to another person, is wrong. I stood with Tyler. When Tyler became speaker, they wanted me to remain in office. I resigned on my principle that you distributed money to remove the speaker. Your character is not something that I can work with on you as my boss. So I resigned that job in the office of the speaker. That's how the former Senator of Bond County, the former Vice President Julius Taylor, saw me and said, the way you ran the office of the speaker can run my office. That's how I became chief of staff to Julius after I left the office of the speaker when Ellis Tyler became speaker. Fast forward, I don't care whether it was a CDC orchestration or that would benefit a rescue mission. I didn't care. I cared that in less than 1 year on our own regime, if CDC wanted to remove the speaker the way they were removing him outside the law, CDC knew one spot. CDC administration won't feel it. It is our. In less than 1 year, we will focus on removal of a speaker. And then we want to remove the speaker outside of what the law says. And so I stood by the rule of law. I'm disappointed in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, because that's the question I want to ask, to compare and contrast the Supreme Court then on Snow's time.
Yeah. The Supreme Court,
which of course everybody knows that had all
the
this.
Supreme Court has spine. The Johnny Lewis bench has spine to say, madam, in fact, they attempt to remove from cover. The country was confused whether the president knew about it, but whether involved in that. To remove Edwin Snow, Ellen Johnson said he was presiding over it was clear. To remove Tyler, Ellen Johnson said he was presiding over it was clear. But the Supreme Court, in the removal attempt of Edwin Snow, the Supreme Court has spanned balls and courage and God to say, not only your venue illegal, the number you didn't reach is unlawful, your action to say you remove him without due process is unconstitutional, and everything he did, all acts, including sessions that you had while you wanted to go in, were deemed illegal, were pronounced and declared illegal. And the Johnny Lewis bench said, to demonstrate our position, we will not go with you, Madam President, to listen to your annual message to an illegal venue and with an illegal body.
Wow.
The Johnny Lewis bench boycotted. That was the first time, I think since 1847, that the Supreme Court of Liberia boycotted the delivery of the annual message of the president in 2007.
Wow.
This CNAO bench, I think, shows of God, one-time sense on our own rescue government. Shows of God. When the court ruled against the executive in the LTA case, that ruling was strong. But in the Horse Saga, the Supreme Court ruling confused the country more than the case, except that they put up before.
Yeah.
The first time in the history of any country where the Supreme Court ruling, everybody said they won. Everybody said they win, everybody said they win, everybody said the other person lost. Then the people filed bail of information. As critical as this thing is to the governance of this country. And the Supreme Court is still pacing about it. You don't do that to the country.
Others say the Senate endorsed the other side. What led to that decision?
Because the Supreme Court in its ruling said Article 33 talks about quorum. And anytime that quorum is presided over by the Speaker, or in the absence of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, it is legal. That's what the Supreme Court ruled. The Senate was not crazy. We got men and women, including me, in there. We got sense of reasoning. That's the House of Elders, even if people are not happy about perception. We read with deep understanding. The Supreme Court defined Article 33 to mean what constitutes quorum and what make that setting legal, lawful, and constitutional. That when the House meet, once the Speaker or in the absence of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker is there. That body is legal. What the Supreme Court failed to do was to define what constitutes absence. Once they failed to do that, it confused the country. So the court said, what you're saying now, the Deputy Speaker there, you're plenty? You're part 37. Put the letter T.O. inside. Everything T.O. inside. Everything in Chaka. I'm talking the Liberian way now.